more inclusivity around the sober community. So we're seeing daytime hours, we're seeing coffee shops, we're seeing events, and we're also, what's really cool is that, you know, the lesbian bars have such a rich history of being places and centers for political action and organizing, and we've actually returned to that functionality in many of these bars, and especially as we're seeing such hateful and discriminatory rhetoric really plague a lot of our states.
Krista, how aware were the patrons at the bars you visited? How aware were they of the history attached to some of these places? Were they aware that, you know, maybe political action took place here? Maybe these were safe spaces for youth as well, not just a place to, you know, have a few drinks and hang out with friends.
It really depended on the bar. I sometimes would walk into a bar and it would be obvious that from the history and the pictures that were all around the room that this was a bar that really emphasized what this place had meant to people. And then other places you would meet, you know, a couple 20-something queers who were maybe there for like maybe the third time and had no idea the history surrounding it and were just there to giggle and have a great time. But sometimes when I would talk to people, they would mention that they'd been coming to the bar for 20 years, or they knew exactly where they were and why they were there.
Erica, how important is it to have spaces where you can have these cross-generational interactions, where you may have the 20-somethings alongside the people who've been coming to that same space for, you know, 20 plus years?
It's so important. I mean, to speak personally, I think I probably would have been way more comfortable in my own sexuality and my own identity if I had role models that I could interface with when I was a child. And because our public school system, and we're seeing this even more so acutely today, does not prioritize queer stories and queer history, we rely on this intergenerational dialogue that we find in the bars to get our history. And I just don't know how we can move forward as a society, as a culture, as a community, if we're not informed about our past and what these activists before us did to ensure that we can even be on the show today speaking about our experiences and our love of lesbian bars.
Let's go back to our voicemail and hear some more of what we heard from you.
Hi, my name is Fawn. I'm calling from Louisville, Kentucky. Here in Louisville, we have a group we call Lesbian Tea Dance. We have been meeting for the past 2 years, monthly, and this is our solution for the lack of lesbian bars here in our community.
I live in Oklahoma City, and I'm pretty proud of the fact that we have one of the few remaining lesbian bars in the country. I don't go to bars anymore, and particularly because this bar allows smoking and I can't be around cigarette smoke, but I also don't drink anymore. But just really interested in this phenomenon of the decline of these institutions and wondering about alternate ways to gather.
Fawn, Rhonda, thanks for leaving those messages. Another member of our text club writes, I used to go to lesbian bars regularly. It was not for the alcohol and not even for a pickup, but the community. It's nice to go someplace where you feel comfortable. And Alher emails, as a trans man in a state that is working to restrict many of my rights, lesbian bars have been one of my few safe spaces. I've been sober for a little over 3 months now, but the small hole in the wall that is primarily a lesbian bar called The Store has been lovely and hasn't judged me for coming to hang out and only drinking non-alcoholic drinks. Erica, not everyone wants to drink or even wants to go to a bar. How are people finding community and building community through other types of activities?
Well, we mentioned pop-ups and meetups, and there's so many community service and activist groups that are organizing. Lexapp, which launched as first an ode to the personal pages and ads that people took out in the 90s in the Village Voice. It was first kind of a homage to that, and people would write in their personal ads, and it was a dating app, but then it actually rebranded as a community group service.